Hello, thank you for joining me Bit Repairs again. Let me just check my audio. Testing, yep, that's fine. We're live, back on air again. Right, so last video, well, the previous video this evening was a iPad Air, which was a charger port repair. This one, as you can tell from the title of the video, I ummed and ahed. I said I wasn't going to do it. I just wasn't sure, to be honest. But I'm finally going to do it now. This is going to be the iPhone 7 audio IC repair, and this is the way that I do it. Ignore all the ways that you've seen in the past of everyone else doing it. They all work. They all take forever. This one takes me minutes. Literally minutes to do. It works almost every single time, except for when it's been played around with, or the board's been bent, or there's other problems. It just works. It never comes back to me. I don't care what people say about this method. You can comment on it, you can say whatever you like, but I've repaired probably about 30,000 of these devices. That is no exaggeration. There's thousands and thousands and thousands. Let me show you. I remove a small piece of metal from the device, and the small piece of metal is from the bottom of the audio IC to allow me to do the repair. The small piece of metal, I gather them. This isn't all of them. This is a few of them. I've just started gathering over the last few months just to show you, when I show you how to do this repair. This is today's little stash. Let me just, there we go. I think there's about, God, I've lost count. There's little pieces of metal hanging around everywhere. This is probably the last week or so. I haven't even got them all. Anyway, they're all going to go in there. This here just shows how many times this repair has successfully been done, has successfully worked, and has never come back to me for another repair. So before we go any further, that is my little disclaimer for this. This is the phone that has the audio IC issue on it at the moment. I will show you the audio IC issue and how to diagnose it. So I'm going to switch over to camera 2. This is the phone. So I'm going to push the home button on here. There we go. I'm going to swipe across. In fact, before we go any further, I'm going to go into I'm going to go into phone, and I'm going to go *#06#. Okay, you can see that's the IMEI for this device. Okay, no cheating going on here. It ends in 46561. Okay, so we're going to come out of there. Right, we're going to go into voice memos, and I'm going to push the voice memos button. You can see it changing colour in the bottom as I'm trying to push it. I'm pushing it, and I'm pushing it, and it's not doing anything. Let's switch over to camera 1. You can see I'm pushing the button. It does not work. Does not do a single thing on that button. Right? So that is voice memos. It doesn't work. That is how to diagnose that you've got a problem with the audio IC. So I'm going to unplug that camera now, and we're back onto here. Don't worry, this phone's got no personal information on it. Don't even think it's ever been opened before by the looks of things. It may have been. There's a little tiny crack in the corner down here. Little tiny one here. Don't worry about it. Right, let's just take out the screws. Take out the base screws first. So I'm going to get nice and close here so you can all see. Let's just zoom in a little bit more. Move that cable out of the way. We don't need that at the moment. So we're going to take out the 2 base screws from the bottom. There we go. 1 base screw, 2 base screw. Right, let's get a little spudger for the bottom of it, and we're going to take off the screen. Get our finger down the side. Try not to make that crack any worse. Okay, phone's still switched on, don't really worry about that, can't be bothered turning it off just yet. Doesn't really matter, it's about to get switched off the moment I disconnect the battery anyway. Okay, that's fine. We all know on the iPhone 7, don't lift the screen up too much because you'll break the home button flex. There we go. Right, so that's the screen over, and I do believe this really does look like it's never been opened before. It's pristine inside. It's lovely when you get an iPhone 7 for audio repair and it's pristine inside, never been opened. So we're just going to take these shields off now down the bottom, take off the battery and the LCD connector. I'm just sticking these to a little magnetic pad that you can see at the side. Okay, that's there. Unscrew that one. To make it quicker, I take all the tri-wing ones out first. I know you don't have to take this out to get the screen off, but I take the tri-wing ones out first so I don't have to pick up my tri-wing screwdriver again. So you do that many of them that you just want this to be as quick as possible, this repair. So we're now undoing the Phillips ones. Going to take that little shield off there. Going to keep on undoing the Phillips ones. Put that there. Put that there. Put that there. Like I say, I could have disconnected the screen already by now. I haven't done it because I've already got a grip on the phone. There's just no point putting it down. We want to try and get through these as quick as possible now. So we're going to disconnect the battery. That's it, disconnected. Pull those off. Disconnect the screen. Quick swish there. Disconnect the camera. Take the screw out from under the camera. As you can see, this is a well practiced procedure. I do it every single day of the week. Take the two antenna connectors up here. Okay. Put them to one side. SIM tray, push it in, push it out from the inside. The reason is if you push the tray out from the outside, you'll push this little pin out here. Then you've got to push it back again. So it's wasting time. When you're doing this repair, we need it done as quick as possible. So we're going to take off the standoff screws now. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Right, that board is now free. Lift it up, put it down there. That goes on top of there. There's all the bits for that phone. That's the phone, that's the board, ready to have the audio repair done. You can actually tell it's, I've just slightly nicked, you can see the paper shield on the top here with the side of the screen. So you'll be able to tell this is the board once it's been done by that little nick. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get a scalpel, nice sharp scalpel, and I'm going to get down the bottom hand corner of the shield, this little paper shield. I'm just going to lift it up ever so slightly, just go like that, and then I'm going to peel it back. Yeah? I'm going to peel it back just above the audio IC. Don't want to lift it up too much because we don't need to lift it up too much. You're doing as minimum amount of work possible here. This is a quick repair that you want to get in and out in no time. Right, so let's switch over to the camera 4 here. So now, what we're going to do, we're going to put this onto the microscope bench, and what I need to do here is I need to remove, I'll try and show you as close as possible, back to camera 1, right, close as possible here. I need to put a score line, I need to cut the shield across here, right across there. At the smallest point is where I need to cut that shield. So I'm going to use a scalpel. I'm going to use as sharp a scalpel as I can get. Focus. There we go. Nice sharp scalpel. Let's switch back over. I'm going to switch over to microscope view now because you're going to see much better what I'm going to do. So picture in picture. You can see a little bit more there. Right, so microscope view, and I am going to cut now. You'll be able to see this in the corner. I'm going to cut right the way across from there to there. I've scored it just so you can see. That is where I'm going to cut. Now I'm going to cut that without damaging the corner of the audio IC. I can only do this because I've done it that many times. The first few that I did, I probably ended up damaging the audio IC. I had to replace it the old school way. And I've done it that many times now that you just go in here, you go like this. Okay, and that's it. You cut nicely across that corner. You then get your scalpel, hook it underneath, under the shield, bend it sideways like this. You can see what I'm doing there, yeah? Bent it sideways. And we're now going to fold it up. Get your thumb, going to fold it backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards until it snaps off. And that is that little piece of metal that I've told you about. That is the piece of metal that exposes the corner of the audio IC here, which is where we need to get to. I'm going to push this down. I'm going to push that down. Okay, now I'm going to move that out of the way now. Let's go back to camera 1. Right, here's our board. It's been prepped now. This is the top secret bit now. This is the top secret bit. Do I tell you? Yes, I tell you, because we've started the repair already. We have a small wedge. This is our wedge. Custom built, didn't buy it, I made it myself. Board goes into the wedge like this, at this angle. So board is in there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this wedge and I'm going to put it under the microscope. Okay, and I'm going to switch you back to microscope view so that you can see what I'm seeing under this wedge. Okay, there's the audio IC chip. I'm going to zoom down, I'm going to zoom in, I'm going to zoom down. You can now see underneath this audio chip, okay? This is what you can see under this audio chip, okay? You can now see right underneath so that we can get to the ball that we need to attach our jumper to. First thing we do now is we get an incredibly sharp scalpel. Absolutely incredibly sharp scalpel. It's got to be a fine sharp point. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to scrape a little bit away underneath here at the underfill till we get back to the trace underneath. Now, if you're experiencing multiple problems with this, so you're experiencing it during calls as well, then you may have to run more than one jumper. So you'll run the other jumpers down the side here. You'll scrape away here as well. You'll scrape away here. You'll scrape away whichever pins you need in order to get the rest of it working. This is the one, 99.9% of the time, I only need to do this one jumper in order to fix the problem permanently. And it never comes back again. So, scrape that away, down there. Right. You can see on the camera now that's been scraped away. So, we're perfectly scraped away. Now we're going to get some flux. And we're going to flux over the top where that is. Tiny bit of flux. Okay, done. We got our jumper wire. We are going to run a jumper. I tell people I run a jumper. I honestly do run a jumper. There is no other way of doing this repair without running a jumper. So we run a jumper. We get our micro pencil. So the tiny micro pencil, the 0.01 millimeter tip. And we get our piece of wire. Heat up that flux so that it goes see-through, and we're going to stick our wire in down there. Okay, I can see it's on the camera. We're going to stick our wire down there into that hole. and tack it onto that resistor. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get our scalpel. We're going to snip. So that is our jumper wire put into place. Going to get some hot air. And we are now going to brush away. We're going to blow away some of this flux with hot air. Can we see it? Yeah, we can see it. Going to blow away some of this flux with hot air so we can see that jumper wire. Can you see that jumper wire? Right. I am now going to push it with a scalpel. You can see, I'm going to push it to one side. There we are. And I'm going to smush it into that ball, into that solder ball underneath there. Right, I'm going to get my soldering iron again, and I'm going to put a blob of solder on my soldering iron. I'm going to put a big glob of solder on the end of it. Right. Now this is the trick. You get your soldering iron, you get your hot air, you put your hot air and your soldering iron at the same time. Watch this on the camera now. You're going to get your soldering iron, you have to be quick. You touch the chip with your iron and you blow it with hot air and it melts and it sticks that solder wire to the ball. See? It's melted. It's stuck that to the ball. So that wire that's just been fitted is now stuck to that solder ball underneath the chip. So you've just run a jumper wire, and you've run that jumper wire without removing the chip from the board. Now all you're doing when you're running this repair is running that jumper wire, but you're having to remove the chip. So we don't have to remove the chip. This is saving so much time, taking that chip off, reballing it, putting the jumper wire in, putting it back on. There we go. I'm going to clean that up there, clean all of that flux off that I just put on. Tiny amount of flux I've used there in comparison. That is all cleaned up. Opposite board end, I've still got all of my foam padding intact. None of that's been disturbed. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get a small piece of Kapton tape. I'm going to get 2 pieces. 1 piece and 2 pieces. Right. The first piece, I'm going to stick it over this gap here that I've just made. Okay. Little gap there. Second piece, I'm going to go there. I'm going to stick it over there. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my Sharpie. Okay. And I'm going to put today's date on. 080421. 080421 BR for bit repairs. And I write the 040821 over the Kapton tape over the chip so that I can see if someone's played around with it. So I'm gonna do some lines here. I do 1, 2, 3 lines from the tape over to the shield, and that's just my little warranty technique. You don't have to do that. It's got nothing to do with the repair. Right, that now is going to go straight back into the chassis, because that is a successful, I can pretty much guarantee it, audio IC repair. So that's going into there, that's going into there, that's the connector going back onto there again. Let's get the 2 antenna connectors on. Okay, that's going on, that's going on. Okay, wasn't sure that one was in right, so I've just pulled it back off again. This is probably the most time consuming part of the reassembly, and getting these damn antenna connectors back on again. Right, so do that, put the SIM tray in, get the screws in, 1 screw, 2 screw, 3 screw, 4 screw, the standoffs. You notice I haven't even tested this. It's going back together without testing. Okay, you have to be quick with this, but I am going to switch it on in a bit. I'll test it, I'll make sure it works, make sure the audio IC is fixed, because there are occasions where it doesn't work. Very rare, but it's so few and far between that I generally trust reassembling the phone before testing it in order to save time. So this literally is going to save me time in not switching it on, testing it, switching it back off again, unplugging the screen. So all of that stuff takes time when you're doing this. Now, if you're doing 100 of them, and you've said to someone you're going to get 100 of them done in a day, then that's the difference between only being able to do 60 of them, 50 of them, against doing 100 of them for that customer in one day. So you're dropping your price down so much because you can do it so cheap. So you can do it so quickly. I don't know anyone else that can do this repair at this kind of speed. I've just done this at this speed. So it's taken 20 minutes and I've explained it fully to you. It would normally take me 6 minutes from start to finish, and that would include disassembly and reassembly of the device. So I'm just going to plug that camera back in again, plug the screen in, plug that in, plug the battery in, hold down the power button. I haven't put the shields in here for the screen or anything because I'm going to switch the phone on, and while the phone's booting, now I'm going to put these shields on while it's booting up, just to save myself some time. So these are all the methods of saving time for your repair, to try and do it as quickly as possible. So usually we do this in teams, so there'll be one person doing the disassembly, there'll be one person doing the microsoldering, and there'll be one person doing reassembly. So we're going to have a team of 3 people that are whizzing through these repairs as quickly as is humanly possible. If you've got a nice team going, you can get through 200 or 300 of these in a day. So this phone's booted up, press the home button. Right, we're back on again. Let's go there, into voice memos, click voice memos, and we're recording our voice memo now. We weren't before. And we're recording our voice memo now. We weren't before. Okay, let me go on to here. Let me go there. *#06#. IMEI number. Is that the same IMEI number as before? I think you'll find it is. So there you are. This is the same phone, just done an audio repair on it. It's been as quick as possible, in, out, audio done. And it's going to go straight back to the customer, happy customer, and it's just going to work. It's never going to fail on them. It's never going to come back to me. None of them ever do come back to me, ever. So I don't care what people say about it being a quick technique. It might be cheating, but it can't be cheating if it's a repair that works, and it works every time, and it simply does not come back to me. So yeah, this is the technique. I've been loath to share it for many, many years. I've been doing it successfully for many, many years. Finally, it's out there for people to do. Enjoy. It's my little treat to everybody in the microsoldering community. I'm sure there are people out there doing it. I've just never heard of anyone that does actually do it. So thanks for joining me. If you want me to do this repair for you, if you want me to do it in bulk, if you want me to do a one-off, just go to the website www.bitrepairs.com. Go on there, buy the service. I think it's 20 quid on there at the moment. It includes return postage. That's any number of units. Just put the number in there, send it in. I think there's even a discount if you're sending in bulk. I can't remember what I've done on there. But yeah, really appreciate it. If you do like this video, like, subscribe, and yeah, put some comments in. Really appreciate you watching. Thanks very much.